I did have another thing I wanted to talk about. So yesterday, somebody had given me some mushrooms, and to me, the stuff that is natural, that comes from the earth, like weed and mushrooms, and I, ayahuasca. I'm pretty sure is a plant. I don't know that much about it. It's way too scary to me. I don't want to go there. And peyote. I've never done peyote, but I've done mushrooms a couple of times, and it is such a mind expanding experience. And so it's so hard to explain, but it's such an experience on a different level. It's it's like your spirit inside of you is showing you something else about life outside of three-dimensional. And so you just have this mind expansion of like how much bigger you are, how much bigger the world is, how much bigger everything is, and how it's all connected. So each time you do the mushrooms, it's a totally different experience. When I was talking to my son-in-law yesterday, he said that there's different strains, and I was watching. There's probably a bunch of channels, but there's one, and it is about medicinal or about the expanding experiences and stuff, and about getting it to be legal. And right now, I guess it's not criminal, but they try and control the psilocybin or something, and that's what, they take that out and put it in acid and stuff. That's the stuff that makes you start seeing the colors and everything. So they're trying to use that as a controlled substance, but it's a natural thing. I mean, nobody's making it in a lab. So there's all sorts of weird rules, because when I started watching how to make the tea, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if it was just going to be, like, hey, yeah, let's just party. It wasn't like that at all. It was very like professional, and she explains like laws and stuff. So I watched a few of them. I'm like, it's interesting. I've seen a few things, like I'm seeing a thing about with mushrooms and people with migraines. And if they take them, like when they get in the cycle of having them, if they go and they do mushrooms, then it breaks that cycle, and they won't have any migraines until the next cycle starts. So and I've always heard that whatever ailments that there are, whatever diseases and all of these things, that there's a cure on the planet for everything. And another thing with mushrooms too is it's used for post-traumatic stress. It's used for addiction. There's like a lot of good things, but they hold this stuff back from us. But I've been a lot of in touch with my guides a lot, and I just was like, and they give me visions and stuff, but I was like, I want to see, but it was kind of scary because I feel like the veil's so thin. Anyways, so it doesn't take much. So I made this tea, and it was really good. The other time when I just chewed the mushrooms, it was horrible tasting, but this tea just tasted like regular tea. So I was sitting here sipping it, and my daughter has just moved into this really cool new place with her husband, and she's setting it all up. And so she's calling me, and she wants to show me around and show me this and show me that, her plants and their pictures and everything. And she's talking to me, and I just got this tea and just sat down and took a couple sips. And she's talking to me, and all of a sudden she starts moving really weird, and I start getting really sick to my stomach. I'm like, okay, I took some mushrooms. I can't watch you move around. This is freaking me out. It's messing with my eyes. And so she said, okay, well, I'm gonna go for a jog. I'll check back with you. And her husband's in the background laughing. And so she went on the jog, and so I started, like, it was weird because I started feeling like this really uncomfortable. Like I had to keep taking deep breaths. I had to keep like stretching and stuff. And I started feeling super weak, and my body started feeling like, man, it weighs like 100,000 pounds. How am I going to move this thing? I was like, okay, this is weird. Like, surely that, you know, I mean, the person who gave them to me did them all the time. So, you know, can't be poisonous ones. Like, what is happening? And I start going and like, okay, I'm just going to go in my bedroom, turn on some music super low. Everything has to be super low. Like, I tried to light an incense, and the smell was so intoxicating. It was horrible. All your senses are they're like high alert, and the colors and everything. If there can be a sparkle somewhere, it's sparkling, and the colors and the movement. It's like you can feel what color and frequency is when it's not what we have created here as a three-dimensional reality. So you are in this other kind of, and everything starts kind of melting in the room. And I was like, okay, this is happening this fast. This is like way stronger. Oh, that's why my son-in-law started laughing, because he was like, oh my gosh, the tea's like 8 times stronger. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? I thought I was just going to sit here and watch a movie, and it was going to be super colorful and funny, and I would get some great insights and some strong communication. I was not expecting to have this like heavy duty trip, because the last time I did it, the whole story, you know, somebody had gotten them and they wanted to do them. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll do them. And, so that person told them how I took a little bit, and I was doing fine. I was seeing like sparkles and everything, just as relaxing and funny, but it didn't work at all for them. But they were like a huge person. They were like a really giant person. And so he went and talked to them, and they said, you need to take way, way more. So stupid enough, when he goes, okay, this is how our thing, and you take this much and I take this much, where I came up with it, I would be taking the same amount as somebody who was twice my size. I don't know where I came up with that would work. So I went, I mean, it was 4 hours it was like, as soon as I went into the thing, I was in a cartoon, and I didn't come out of it for 4 hours. And for months later, I kept seeing blue flashing lights in front of my eyes, but everything became a cartoon. And it was, to me, it was way beyond anything I'd ever experienced before. So, it was very intense, and it was nothing laughing about it. I don't remember laughing at all. It was and so when this one started, and it started so strong like that, I was like, oh my gosh, what in the hell am I in for on this? Especially when it was my body was having this reaction. So my head, you know, I could hear my guides so loud talking, and they were just telling me, just relax. It's just, you know, relax, enjoy the show. And so I had gone in my bedroom, you know, tried to set up, put on some low music, and went in there and laid down and just tried to relax. As that's what I had seen in the migraine one. The guy said he just goes in, he puts the bedroom thing on, and he just has this trip for whatever. I don't know. I think he maybe was 8 or 10 hours. And so I thought, okay, I'll just do that. That's, you know, if it's going to be heavy duty, I'll just go in here and try and relax. Maybe I'll just go to sleep, have some really crazy dreams. And, but my body was having this weird reaction. And it was so hard to explain. And the colors were insane. The room, you couldn't even keep your eyes open. The room was moving way too much. I don't know how to explain it when you start seeing the pulsation of colors in the movement and stuff. It's very hard to deal with your eyes. And then so when I laid down and I would shut my eyes, oh my gosh, the color was so crazy, the colors. And I could see all of these, it seemed like mandalas or something, whatever those intricate patterns. It was like everything was made of these patterns, millions and millions of these made up everything. Like you would be made, everything was these patterns and these colors. It was like very much like in a movie where they're showing you some acid trip. That's just what it looked like. And, you know, that part could be enjoyable, except for my body kept having these weird, like, reactions and these horrible waves of sickness. And the tea, I guess, supposedly is supposed to make you not be sick, but it seems like all the mushrooms kind of have a different thing. But I kept thinking, you know, this is like, it's a natural thing, right? You know, and there is ones, you know, you can eat and they'll kill you. And there's, you know, I mean, not everything that grows is healthy for us, right? So it kept feeling like to me that I had taken this poison and my body was reacting to the poison, and I was, my spirit was kind of pulling out of my body, and it was like painful, and it was like letting go of it or something. It just kept feeling like my body was disappearing from, like they were separating. And I kept thinking, maybe this is like some kind of experience. So this brings you kind of like to death. And then, it doesn't kill you. It just brings you back. But while you're dying, you're having this crazy experience. I don't know. This wasn't like any other one. And I don't know if it was because it's 8 times stronger. Yeah, if you make a tea and you're trying to have an experience, like look into it much more and be prepared, like to do small amount, because from what I have experienced, they're all completely different. You're gonna have a different experience every time, and you got to be prepared for the most intense experience. It's like, oh my gosh, I have a ton left. And I thought, well, I guess I can try that micro dosing thing and see, because it's supposed to be really good. You don't do enough to get you high where you're seeing things. I guess you just take a little, and I don't know, it's like a natural antidepressant or something. And it helps with headaches, like a whole bunch of stuff. That's something, you know, if you're interested, just look into it. I just think that there's a lot of things that are natural to the earth that we've been lied to about that too. I mean, there's nothing that they've told us that has been real or truthful. Everything has been lies. And this is going to be a rediscovery for us as human beings to just figure it all out. And so, yeah, if you're interested in that or the experiences, just make sure you look into it. Like, I had no idea about the tea, and I thank God, because the person who told me said just mix it up and then do it like a shot. And I just sat and sipped the tea, and thank God. I don't even know what would happen if I would have finished that whole thing, because less than half, and I was for hours and hours and hours. I ended up calling my son-in-law. He had to talk to me the whole time until I could, I was getting so sick. My eyes, I couldn't chew. I could barely talk. It was rough. It was but I did start telling him about this reality, because they're very locked into the narrative. And when you start seeing it, it's mind blowing. But I did start explaining it to him, and as I was explaining it, I was being shown it in such a different, so much more clearly. I could see all of this stuff. And I thought, oh, this was the experience I was supposed to have, because it did do something to, like, some kind of an awakening in me of like, this is, like, I completely understand, you know, what I'm supposed to be doing, talking about this, no matter who sees it or whatever, if it's just getting this energy out there. But this is the most important thing for human beings, what's happening right now. And the people who are about to wake up to this fake narrative and have to face themselves, they haven't gone through all of the other parts of the awakening and the dark night and stuff. This is going to be their dark night. And there's so many religious people who think this is all about religion, and they base everything on religion, and they forget to think about there's tons and tons of people and tons of different religions. It's not just one that has all the answers. You have to go together. You have to unify to get the full picture. You can't divide. It's all for division. Religion, everything has been for division. So, yeah, once we all start seeing it, but the people who are about to wake up to it, it's just going to be, I think it's going to be very difficult. It's like the movie opening up to the worst scene ever. And then when they start, you're watching the most horrific things happen, and suddenly you realize it's all happening to you. You're the person in the seat. It's nuts. So a lot of people are going to go through a lot. I just think we all need to just really be there for each other, have compassion. And, this is when we start building love and start creating what we want. It's all got to fall apart in order to build up new. So everybody just be positive and be excited, because the future is what we make it.